going on, guys? Back with another video. If you've seen my last video, you know I had done some rear end modifications or enhancements on the Mustang. Today I'm going to be doing some front end enhancements, more specifically the engine bay. Picked up a couple parts from California Pony Parts, and along with installing those, I'm going to be color matching the plenum cover and the coil covers to the J7 body color of the Mustang here. It's the magnetic metallic. And after I get that all done, I'm going to do the letters and the little stripes in a gloss black, and then finish it off with a clear. So I'm going to show you what I got and some of the products that I'm going to be using here. I am not a body guy by any means, but I like, you know, kind of dabbing in this type of stuff, and I've done a little bit over the years, so I feel very confident that I can get some really good results out of this. So follow me along as I go through this process, and here we go. Alright, so these are the parts that I got from California Pony Parts. This is the carbon fiber insert. This will go in place of that matte black plastic insert that's on there, you know, from the factory. And I'll be removing the 5.0 badge and putting that. There's provisions for it here to, I guess, adhere it there. Also a nice little feature. I haven't taken this cover off, but I'm assuming it's probably somehow like just like plastic rivets or whatever that are kind of melted on there. But it looks like they have already put their own hardware on there with some nuts. So when I basically cut those rivets off, I'll be able to attach that using the fasteners that are on it. And as well, I got this little coolant overflow cover. It's actually opened. I can pop that right out. But yeah, that'll basically just cover up this overflow tank, and it comes with some hardware, black hardware, to replace the aluminum looking bolts that are on there right now. But yeah, that's just a little something just to kind of clean it up a little bit. I think that looks a little bit stealthier than that kind of clear plastic looking tank that's on there. But yeah, as well as that, I'm going to be also, like I said, painting the covers. And what we're going to be using for that is, well, let's see here. I'll go kind of in order here. Basically, I've got some wax and grease removal, so I'm going to do a little sanding. I'm going to try this 600 grit, see how that works out, see if that gets me the results I'm looking for. I'm trying to get this smooth, the plastic smooth. So if I can do that with the 600, I got some other coarser grits if need be, but I don't want to knock it down too much, but I want it to make it surface smooth and give the paint something to adhere to. So yeah, so after I get it done sanding, I'm going to use this wax and grease removal, and then I'm going to follow it up with this plastic adhesion promoter, and then along with that we're going to put the base coat on. This is a Spray Max 1K. It's the J7 magnetic metallic. And then when we get all that finished up, I'm going to do the lettering with just a gloss black paint. I had a little container of this made up for me, and I'll be using, which I thought was kind of cool, I asked the body guy. I got all this stuff at this body shop supply place over where I live, and I was asking him if he had any types of detailing brushes or like those brushes that pinstripers would use, like a guy that does like hand pinstriping would use, and he had a whole container of different sizes. So he gave me this one. This is a 000, which is going to be really fine once you put the paint on there. These bristles, really fine bristles. I'm not really even sure what kind of hair it is, but it's really soft and fine. So I'm hoping that it'll give me a nice smooth finish when I use this. So yeah, we're gonna use that to apply the black paint to all the lettering and the little stripes that are on there. And then once I get all that finished up, we're going to follow it up with the Spray Max 2K clear. So But all this stuff, I think it was about 120 bucks. I picked this up at an auto body supply store. Like I said, you know, local to me. Probably you can get this stuff at any place around your way if you got an auto body supply place like that. So this is what we're going to be using, and like I said, I feel pretty confident that I'm going to get some really nice results off of this. And but yeah, here we go. We're going to get into this. I got to take these covers off, and we'll start prepping them up. All right. So first, what I'm going to do is remove these little hoses here. There's these little snap-on clips. They got a little black, light gray plastic clip. You just push the side of it a little bit, and they'll just pop right off. Try and ever so gently snake this down somewhere so it's not going to mar up the cover. And on this one, it looks like I need just a little flathead screwdriver or something to get in there and push the clip back. Come on now, don't make a liar. There she is. All right, so then that one's out of the way. And then really, basically, these things just pop right off. Little rubber grommets or something like that on the back side. As you can see, just a couple rubber grommets. Push right on there. Take this cap off, this oil cap, that's kind of in the way. And there, yeah, so I got these off. So yeah, I'll be taking that black paint, as you can see, and I'm going to try and hand paint that on there. See how that goes. I guess there's a couple of different methods to trying to do it, but honestly, I think it's going to be a little bit of time, you know, probably a little time consuming, but I think it's going to give me the best results, and I'm not going to have to do any weird cleanup or anything like that. Now this should be the same thing. I should just be able to pop this right off. Now when I get this painted, I should be able to snake this out from under the strut bar. But is it going to make a liar out of me? I think it is. All right, let me take the strut bar off. All right, of course, not everything is just pop it right off. I ended up having to remove the battery cover, which is just three little plastic clips, and the positive cable for the battery, and this little ground wire down here on this bracket with this hold out with the 10mm bolt. But after doing all that, the strut bar comes right out. So we got that out of the way. And off comes the cover. Now, I'm curious to see how this thing is actually attached. And yes, as I suspected, there's little plastic like rivets, and they just heat them up and then melt them over the top there. So it looks like I'll have to just probably either drill these out or sand them down or something like that, and this thing will pop right out. So we'll get to that, and I'll start prepping these covers for the adhesion promoter. I'm going to try and just drill these out. I think this is like a 5/32 drill bit. I don't want to make it too large of a hole because I want to bore it out too much. That way the fasteners that are on that carbon fiber insert will fit nice. You know, if I have to, I'll just bore these holes out a little bit more when I go for the final installation. All right. I'm going to try a little bit larger one. I don't want to bury too deep. After a little bit of trial and error, actually no error really, it came out perfectly fine, but I had to try a couple different methods to getting these to free up without oversizing the holes that are on the cover that I'm going to be keeping. So basically what I did is I'm going to drill these out. I'm using an oversized drill bit to basically knock the top of these little plastic rivets off. And when you do that, eventually, if you do it slowly enough, it'll expose the actual diameter of the hole that you're going to be dealing with in the end. So then I finish it off with the smaller bit. So I'll show you kind of a little bit of how I do that, and then I'll finish up the rest, and then we'll take it off. So I'm going with the oversized bit right now, and I'm just gonna really easily, with very little pressure, just kind of allow the drill to, the weight of the drill. And as I say, I'm just knocking the top of it off. And when I get down to the light gray, see, I can already start seeing I'm already starting to see the hole for the cover, the part that I'm going to be keeping. So now I'll try roughly the same diameter. And there you go. That's one down. So, same thing. I don't even know how many there are on here. What's 2, 4, 6, 8 little areas. So you just do the same process for all the other ones. Alright, so basically that's it. I'm just going to finish this whole process and we'll get to the next step. Alright, so got all the rivets off. This thing should just pop right off now. And it does. And it looks to be like the, I'm probably not going to need to use any extra drill bits to oversize this, but we'll take a look. I want to double check, make sure that this thing fits properly before we move on to the next phase here, which would be the sanding. Just make sure that everything goes on as it should. Yeah, as I suspect, looks like everything sizes up just fine here. That's on, fit. That should do really well. Just a little disclaimer too: if you're handling a small flathead screwdriver, try to use a little bit of caution during this process. I got myself a little boo-boo, but yeah. So that fits on there pretty good. Now on to the sanding phase here. Basically, what I got here is just a block sander with some 600 grit paper on it, and I'm going to see how well it does with this. This surface is really not that textured. It's probably won't take much to get a nice smooth surface. So I'm just going to knock it down a little bit, you know, see how well this does. These things look like they're already kind of painted anyways, I guess. I don't think this is the actual color of the plastic. But maybe it is, I don't know. It's got like speckles in it. But I'm going to, try and get this knocked down. And I'll be right back with you to try and get this as much as I can. And then show you what the result is after a little bit of work here. So stay with me. All right, so I got the coil covers sanded down. I haven't done the plenum cover yet, but I just kind of want to do a real quick follow-up on my progress here. I ended up trying to do it with the 600 grit, and it was just too fine. Wasn't really cutting down fast enough for me. I suppose you could do it, but it would just take you a heck of a lot longer to do. So I stepped it down to a 320. Still got a nice smooth surface, you know, but it didn't take me nearly as probably long as it would have if I did with the 600 grit. Could have probably done it a little bit faster if I went down a little bit even coarser of a grit and then stepped it up to the 320. But I didn't want to chance it and end up leaving like sanding marks or anything like that I would have to later remove as well, you know, with a 320 or something like that. So I just kind of followed the old rule of thumb: slow and steady wins the race, and just took my time and made sure that they were, you know, I was following the contours. I didn't even actually use the block on it either. I just held it in my hand and kind of just followed the contours of the cover, and yeah, it came out nice and smooth. So the next step I think I'm going to probably end up doing now is just I'm going to put the promoter on, the adhesion promoter, and then do a top coat. And I'm just going to do it on one first and see how the results are. If I get a good solid result off of the one cover, then I'll move on to the other one and then do the plenum in the same fashion. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this now, put some promoter on it, and do the top coat, and we'll see where we're then. All right, so I was getting ready to use this wax and grease removal, and I was actually recommended from the supply place that I got all this stuff from to use this, but it actually says on the back here, do not use on plastic or fiberglass, for metal surfaces only. So I'm not going to be using this on these covers. I'm actually just probably going to see how it works and just do the isopropyl alcohol. I've already hit the this cover with compressed air. I'm just going to wipe it down real quick with the alcohol, and then we'll start doing the adhesion promoter. It actually recommends to spray a light coat, do it for 5 minutes, allow it to flash for 5 minutes, and then put one full coat of promoter on there, and then wait 15 minutes, and then I could do the top coat. So I'm going to clean it up and then add this promoter. And I saw a little video of somebody doing some small parts painting outside, and they used a Tupperware or like a storage container to cover the parts up so they don't get any type of debris. So I thought that was a good idea. So after I put the promoter on there, I'm going to cover it up with this this container and let it do its thing, and then we'll do the top coat. So I'm just going to clean this up real quick and let it dry. Again, I've already hit it with some air, so it should be relatively clean of any dust, but I'm just going to wipe any residuals off with this alcohol. And I'm just using those Scott's shop towels, the blue shop towels that you can get at your parts store. Using that they're pretty good, they're durable, and they don't leave any lint behind, so should be real nice for this particular project. All right, so I got it cleaned up, and we'll do this promoter first. Do a light coat. And then we'll do a heavy coat. right, let that sit for 5 minutes, and then we'll do a heavy coat. All right, so it's been about 5 minutes. Now we're going to put a heavy coat on. Thank you very much. All right. I'd say that's about as heavy as I'm going to get. All right, so we'll let that sit for 15 minutes, and then we'll give the top coat a try. All right, so I let that heavy coat of promoter flash for about 15 minutes. Now we're going to give the top coat a try. We'll see how this lays. The one thing I'd like to mention, though, and I didn't mention it before, I don't think, is the plus to this 1K paint is that I can use this until it runs empty. The 2K paint, once you activate that hardener on the bottom, you got to use it within a certain amount of hours or whatever. I've heard 4 to 6 hours. I don't really know, but you got to use it relatively quick. Where this 1K, I can just spray and then wait however long and then do another coat. And it was also recommended that if I'm going to do 1K, or if I'm going to do the 1K, that I just follow it up with a 2K. I don't need to do a 2K top coat and a 2K base coat, you know what I'm saying? So it's 1K for the base, and then I'll follow it up with the 2K for the clear. So we're going to give this a shot. Hopefully it comes out the way that I'm anticipating. That came out pretty good. I'm gonna let that cure for I don't know, maybe 10-15 minutes. I'm not even really sure how long I got to do the next coat. I might let it sit for a little while, and then we'll see what it looks like. But it looks good. I probably went maybe a little heavy on it. I don't even know, but it's a valve cover or a coil cover, so I'm not trying to paint it like I would want, like the exterior of the car, you know what I mean? I just want to put a nice coverage on it so that when it's even, which it appears to be, and then, if I get it to that point, then I can put a couple coats of clear on it, but, it's not going to be exposed to the elements like the exterior of the car, so I'm not going to treat it like that, you know what I mean, and put 4 coats of base or whatever the heck they would do, and then, several coats of clear. I'm just going to kind of just do it so that I got a nice even base coat, and then put a couple coats of clear on it just to hopefully make it pop and just protect the base coat. So I'll let this harden up, and then we'll see where we're at. All right, so that last coat I put on relatively heavy. I don't think it was like extreme, but definitely got, I think, pretty good coverage on it. But I'm just to make sure I should have enough paint to do all the parts here, but and if I don't, I'll just get more. But I'm going to do one more quick coat on it just to make sure that I've covered everything completely, and then I'm going to continue the process, that same exact process, and all the other 2 parts, and then I'll follow it up with a clear. But that, as far as I can tell, it looks really, 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 really good, and it should look awesome when I get the clear coat. So I'm just going to do one quick. I'm gonna call it a day. So I'm gonna let this completely cure. Like I said, I'm gonna do all the parts in this exact same process, and then I'll show you the clear coat, and then we'll move on to the next. All right, so I got the coil covers and the intake manifold all painted up now, all detailed. I did all the lettering and the stripes in a gloss black. I ended up actually having to change up the method in which I was going to do this. I originally tried doing it, hand painting it with the pinstriping brush, and just was not getting a real consistent finish. So I ended up actually taking the covers and masking them all off using blue painter's tape, and I individually cut out each letter and the stripes, and then used Duplicolor universal black right out of the can, sprayed it all down, got a nice even finish now, and it should look really, really good once I get it clear coated. I didn't clear anything at all yet. This is actually still the base coat for the color matched, and this is basically my base coat right here for the letters and the stripes. So now, after I get all the tape, everything removed, I'm going to clear it all over in one shot using that 2K spray. But as you can see, I hope it's picking it up, but nice consistent finish now, nice and even, looks fantastic. I'm really actually pleased at how well it came out. Probably a little bit of time, you know, obviously spent doing this, but I honestly think that I would have spent more time, and I don't think I would have gotten that great of results doing it by hand. This certainly seemed like the better of the two. So yeah, I'm gonna get this cleared up and I'll show you the finished product. All right, so I got everything cleared up now. Got the intake manifold cover sitting underneath this box, waiting for that to cure, at least to the touch. The coil cover's been sitting underneath this tote for about 50 minutes now, just baking in the sun. It's about 70 degrees out today. It was actually a pretty good temperature to do this. So yeah, let's take a look and see how they came out. Oh wow. Oh yeah. That looks nice. That looks real nice. Folks, this is what a little bit of time and the right products can do. This thing came out darn near 100%. I mean, I think if I wanted to make this top notch, a light wet sand and a polish, these things would look like show quality. I don't even think I'm going to do that though, to be honest with you. I'm more than satisfied with the way this looks right now. I'm just going to leave it at that. You know, this is not a show car. This is, you know, but you know, so I'm not going to go to the extreme, but certainly if you really wanted to put in some extra time, you could really make these things look, you know, top notch. But I'm going to leave them just like that. I'm going to wait the 24 hours, full 24 hours, make sure that they're fully cured before installing them. And once I do that, I'll show you the finished products, show you what they look like when they're installed. Stay with me. All right, so got everything cleared up, installed back on the car. As you can see, I got the California Pony Cars carbon fiber insert on there, along with the factory 5.0 badge. Also put on the overflow tank cover. I like that little touch. Certainly a lot better than looking at that clear plastic tank. Gives it a nice cleaner appearance. But yeah, overall very pleased with the overall outcome of this little project here. As you can see, you got a nice gloss finish on it now. The letters and lines came out nice and clean. Certainly a lot better than looking at that light gray plastic that was on there. Makes me a little bit prouder to pop open the hood on this beast. But yeah, glad I invested a little bit of time and money into this. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe. Check out my other videos and stay tuned for more content. Thanks for watching.